Hi guys, this is Laurel. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope that everybody had a safe and fun New Year's, and I just wanted to say, if you're new to this channel, welcome, and I hope you'll subscribe, and if you've been coming here and watching my videos, I'm glad to have you back, so thank you so much. It has been a couple weeks since I posted, just because it's been kind of crazy. 2017 is already off to a kind of an interesting start. We've had the most snow that we've had here in this area since the year 1892 is what the local weather service is saying, which is just crazy. I'll post a picture like over here so you guys can see what it looks like outside right now for us. That means my kids have had a total of 5 snow days. Now in the past several years that they've been in school, all the years they've been in school, in fact, that's as many snow days as they've had the entire time as we've had just this year in 2017. So anyways, it's been a little bit crazy around here. I've been very busy with them, and then we had one day where I didn't want a chance taking my van out of the driveway. Luckily my husband was able to get out because he has 4-wheel drive on his car, so that was nice. But we're in better shape now. The kids are back in school. The snow is starting slowly to melt, so we'll see how that goes. And the other thing is just that my family's had some needs, and I've had to work with them on that, and so it's been a couple weeks since I posted something, but I wanted to get back into it since we have a brand new spanking year. It's 2017, and when I start out the new year, I'm not really a big resolutions person, but what I do like to do instead is to just set some intentions. I think a big deal, and what I just say for myself is, if I don't get to do what I want with an intention, I just carry it with me through to the next year if I feel like that, and then I get done what I want to. So what I'm going to do for this year, something that I'd really like to do is to work on hand lettering or brush lettering. It's not really the same as calligraphy because that's a different technique and a whole different skill set. But in January, usually after the holidays get over, I have a really strong drive to start doing something creative, and one of the things I'd like to do this year is to start a bullet journal. I'd like to do it digitally on my iPad, and there's so many, when you go to Pinterest and you look at those, there's so many that have beautiful brush lettering or hand lettering in them, that it's something that I want to do. So what is that I've set out for myself to learn how to do brush lettering, and so in this video I'm going to show you my experiences, what it's been like in the last few weeks, and I've been doing it on the iPad with my Apple Pencil and using the Procreate app. So that's what I want to do, because for me, I'm going to learn how to do it on paper because I think that's where you get a lot of your good practice, but I also want to do it digitally so that I can import things into Photoshop elements and use them on my scrapbook pages. And so that's kind of what this video is going to be about today. Is I made a layout, and then I created some hand lettering in Procreate with the app on the iPad, and then I imported it into Photoshop Elements. Now a few months ago I did a video on using the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil as like a pen tablet to put your handwriting and things on pages, and I will go ahead and link that for you guys so you can take a look at it then, if you know, when you have a minute. In that video I touched briefly on using Procreate. I put a template over the screen of my iPad and traced the template to make something, you know, it was a woman's face that I later imported into Photoshop Elements and for maybe use later. So if you want to see that video, you can go back and watch that. And yeah, today we're going to talk about the brush lettering aspect of it. Now I just want you guys to understand that this is just my first impressions, it's just my first experiences, it's just me as a beginner starting out and trying this. I'm not a brush lettering expert, I'm not a professional graphic designer, none of that is true for me. There are plenty of great blogs, websites where there are brush lettering artists that really know what they're doing, and I've been going to their websites, downloading their practice sheets, putting them in my iPad and Procreate so I can practice on those. They are the ones who you go to if you really want to know how to do brush lettering the right way. And a lot of it is just going to be practice, is what I've learned. So basically I've been practicing for a week and a half, not quite 2 weeks. And what I did was I decided that even though my brush lettering isn't perfect right now, and it's still very much you know, imperfect and a little wiggly maybe in some spots, to create some word art in Procreate and then import it. So anyways, that's just what that's just what the content of this is. It's just a beginner, after a little practice, just taking their imperfect handwriting and throwing it onto a digital scrapbook page. So anyways, if you guys want to see what I did and what I thought and how it went for me as a very imperfect brush letterer, but someone who still enjoyed it and had fun with it, but I hope you'll keep watching. Okay, thanks. Okay, so before I get started showing you on the iPad how this worked, I wanted to show you the cursive letter style that I'm choosing for my brush lettering, and it's in this great book called the Botanical Hand Lettering Workbook by Bethany Robertson. So I based some of my brush lettering off of that. You can see right there my feeble attempts, but it is coming along pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is go into the Procreate app, and I'm going to go in that, hit the plus sign in that menu that says Create. I'm going to choose the option that says Untitled to get a new sheet of paper out. And what I'm going to do now is, you can see I've got the little brush tool highlighted at the top right. I'm going to use my Apple Pencil to go ahead and create some brush lettering here in Procreate. So what I'm going to do now, before I get started, is I've created a new layer in Procreate just for these guidelines. These guidelines are going to help me keep my letters to be straighter and a little less squiggly and the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to draw those out first, and then I'm going to create a separate layer for the lettering itself, because I don't want the lines and the letters to be together. I want to be able to have those separate. So now I'm going to start working on the brush lettering. I'm writing the word snow like you saw on the layout that I showed at the beginning of the video. And what I'm doing is just trying to have a lot of control and write that out as neatly as I can. Not too bad for just a couple weeks of practice. Now what I'm going to do is go back and get rid of that layer that had the lines on that, because I don't want to carry that forward with me as I import it to Photoshop Elements. So I'm just going to delete that off by swiping to the left. And now what I'm going to do is just thicken the downstroke of each of these cursive letters. And by the downstroke, I mean anytime your pen is pulling down or drawing down. It's basically a downstroke. Not too complicated, right? So when I get that done, then I'm going to go, once I get the outside of the letters filled in, the downstrokes that is, I'm going to go back and I'm going to darken them with my Apple Pencil. When I first started doing this, I was trying to color back and forth like I would on a paper with a crayon, and that just does not work, at least not with this particular brush. For me, it didn't work. And so what I'm doing is just darkening my S's by pulling all my strokes down, so that there's a less streakiness. It was still kind of streaky in the end. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of these letters, the places that I thickened that downstroke in. Sorry, my hand's in the way just a little tiny bit, but you're going to get the idea here in a minute. You can see the S and then the N. Here in a minute I'll move my hand and you can get a better look at it. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead, because I don't want to have you watching me color these in the whole time. So in a minute you'll see all the letters colored in, and there we are. So now what I'm going to do is export it to Photoshop Elements. So I'm going to hit the little wrench icon, which is the tools, and the third icon from the left in the tools section is the share button. You can see it right there, that little square with the arrow. And now I'm going to choose my file type. Now when I was getting ready to export this, I chose PNG, but I had a lot of trouble with it in Photoshop Elements. The background wouldn't separate from the word art, so I would really suggest saving it as a PSD file instead. And then all I did from here is to just email this image to myself so I could open it in Elements. One thing that happened when I emailed it, which I thought was weird, is it said snow.psd.eml. So make sure when you after you email it to yourself, save it as just a PSD file. Get rid of those last 3 letters and make sure that it's saved. Now you can see I made this layout, and then I hovered my arrows over the place where we're going to put that snow word art. It's in the top left of the page more. I'm showing you this because I've got a lot of streakiness, so I got out my brush tool and I'm coloring in the streaks on these letters because I want them to be nice and dark and solid. And so that's one thing I'm going to have to resolve as I go forward, maybe trying a different brush in Procreate, or maybe there's some tricks I don't know about that. But anyways, that's just what I'm doing here. And then what I'm going to do later is take the brush and I'm going to fill in the color and make some of the lines a little less jagged. So I just took my imported word out and I'm going to throw it onto my layout. It comes in on top of this little photo of the snowy tree, and it's pretty small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up into the place where I want it, right in there, and I'm going to make it bigger by holding down the shift key and using the move tool to grab onto those transformation handles and make that a little bit bigger. And I'll make it just a little tiny bit bigger. And then in the next scene, you'll see I didn't like the black there. I wanted to do something to bring that word art out. So sorry, the screen's gotten a little dark here. I don't really know why. I'm going to choose edit and stroke and put the white stroke or outline on a new layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit select and then expand, and I'm going to expand that by 20 pixels so that I have a white border around my word art so it looks kind of more like a sticker. And then I'm going to throw a drop shadow behind that. Now, when I went to, when I was looking at the color I wanted the word snow to be, I didn't think the black was standing out enough, so at first I tried this brown and it was just getting lost. So I chose another blue. I chose a navy blue instead from the color picker. I thought it made it stand out a lot better, and it didn't get lost in any of the colors that are in the pattern paper, but it still goes with it because it's a shade of that light blue. It's a dark blue. So that's what I did here. And then what you're going to see next, the next thing I'm going to show you is that when I zoom in on the word art, it's kind of, the outline of it is a little bit jaggedy and messy. Oh, sorry, before we get to that, I'm just changing the colors of some of the word art down below to match navy blue with the snow because I thought it helped with the visual impact and just stood out a little better. And I think the only one I didn't change the outline stroke was the middle photo of the ladder because it got lost. But all the word art went in navy, and just that one middle stroke on the middle photo got left as light blue. And then I'm going to recolor this ribbon strip so it's more kind of like a monochromatic blue because I just hit Command U and then recolored it with that same navy because it was competing too much as well. So here we go. Now we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to use the eraser tool on the outline, the white outline, because some of it was kind of jagged and kind of squirrely and funny looking. So if you can look down at the left part of that W, I just went and smoothed some of those areas out. And now what I'm going to do is get my brush tool out, and there's still some holes and some spaces in the word lettering that we're just peeking through. So all I did was take my brush tool with that same navy blue color. I chose a really small brush size, like a size 7 from the basic brushes, and just filled that in. And there we have our cute little word art. So guys, if you are interested in trying this out, I encourage you to look up some of the blogs I'll have linked down below and see if you want to put hand lettering on your stuff. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this layout. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and hit that little bell icon for updates. So anyways guys, have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.